Today is Juneteenth, and it commemorates the end of slavery in the U.S. Congress passed legislation in 2021 making June 19th a federal holiday.
9 News race and culture expert Dr. Rosemary Allen is with us this morning to walk us through some of the history. Thank you so much for coming in.
Such an honor to be here, especially today.
Yeah, so talk about the significance of today.
Well, you know, on June 19th, 1865, Galveston actually, they won the freedom from slavery, basically. So what happened is on January 1st, 1863, President Abraham Lincoln issued an executive order that we now know as the Emancipation Proclamation. And that freed the slaves in Confederate states. Now, Texas was the westernmost Confederate state, and they decided, no, we're not going to do this. They defied the law, and they forced the enslaved to stay in bondage. So in 1865, here comes Union soldiers, Union Major Granger. General Granger came in with the order, General Order Number 3. And he declared again that all of the enslaved were now free and had the same rights as their enslavers, which is really interesting because while this was going on, the enslavers from other states, from Louisiana, Arkansas, Tennessee, they brought tens of thousands of enslaved to Texas to keep this institution of slavery going. And what we found is that even after General Granger came, some of those people remained enslaved for a couple of years.
So then how were those enslaved people finally freed?
And that's what happened. So what happened is that when General Granger came, he brought in federal troops. He brought in 2,000 troops that really fought hard to ensure the freedom of these enslaved folks.
How should people celebrate today?
You know, Corey, so many times, first we have to debunk the myth that these enslaved people didn't know they were free. They knew they were free, and they continued to fight for their freedom, but it wasn't until the intervention of federal troops that came in and freed them. So first, we celebrate the hard-fought struggle for freedom, the bravery of those who fought, and then the acknowledgement that sometimes the law alone is not enough, that we need federal intervention to really come in and enforce the law and to enforce and support justice. So as we celebrate today, we celebrate those courageous people who fought for freedom.
You taught me something new because I always thought it was that they didn't even know until 2.5 years after the Emancipation Proclamation had passed at that point. Now, one thing I want to know is how long did it take for those federal troops to actually free the enslaved people?
Right. We knew at least 2.5 years because the General Granger didn't come until 2.5 years after emancipation. Right. And then after he got there, most of them were freed, but some went underground. And the reason that the enslavement lasted so long was because of force and violence, the fear. So can you imagine being enslaved, being told you're free, but your enslavers still hold you in captivity? So we have documented cases of some staying enslaved for a couple of years after that.
So if you could pass along a message to anyone today, what would you want them to know about Juneteenth?
I would want them to know about the courage of those who fought for their freedom and the courage of those who knew they were free, but they didn't have what they needed to ensure their own freedom.
Right.
I want to talk to people about intervening and supporting justice and really promoting justice and fighting for it. And I also want people to know that freedom is not always free, that there are long fought struggles to freedom. And it not only impacts those who are the victims of it, but those who are the allies to those who are the victims.
Well, Dr. Allen, we appreciate you teaching us this morning. It was amazing. Thank you
so much.